3:15 this afternoon, this video, shortly before it actually hit the water. Another video shows pieces of that helicopter just falling into the Hudson River this afternoon. A horrific tragedy and a helicopter mystery. Why did this tourist chopper break apart and lose control?
What happened? 2 adults and 3 children from Spain were passengers on board that helicopter. The 6th person was the pilot. All 6 people were killed in this tragic crash.
3:17 p.m., a clear Thursday afternoon over the Hudson River. Tourists strolled Pier 40. Cameras clicked. Ferries churned the water below. But then, it happened. A sound cracked across the sky, like fireworks or gunshots. People froze, heads turned skyward, and in that frozen moment, something was falling. Fast, spinning, screaming. A helicopter, plummeting, its rotor blades lifeless, its body smoking. Within seconds, it slammed into the river. Screams, silence. A family from Spain was on board. All of them, gone. And the question now echoes through the streets of New York. How could this happen?
Crash was in the Hudson River between Manhattan and Jersey City. Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Glassberg was there shortly after this tragedy happened. She is on the New York side of the Hudson, and she kicks off our coverage this evening. Lauren.
Liz and Bill, this was supposed to be a joyride in the sky, an opportunity for these visitors to New York to take in the sights of the high-rises and the Hudson River. And that chopper started going down. We looked at the flight path at about Edgewater, New Jersey, a little farther north, and then it quickly descended. Witnesses told us they heard a loud noise, and then they looked over to the water and they saw that chopper really split in two, the rotors separating from the fuselage before it went into the water.
Agustín Escobar wasn't just a successful Siemens executive. He was a devoted father, a loving husband, and a man who had finally carved out time for a long overdue dream trip with his family. His wife, Merce Camprubi Montal, a warm and passionate woman, had spent weeks planning every detail. Their 3 children, 11, 5, and just 4 years old, were buzzing with excitement. It was their first time in New York City. The helicopter ride was the highlight. Photos from earlier that day show the kids smiling under the Manhattan skyline, clutching maps and souvenir keychains. Merce held her youngest close, her arm protectively wrapped around him as Agustin snapped pictures. They boarded the helicopter thinking it would be another beautiful memory, one more story for their family album. But it never came. They took off from the downtown Manhattan heliport at 2:59 p.m. The Bell 206 rose smoothly, tracing the familiar path north up the Hudson, soaring past skyscrapers and above the buzz of the city. At 3:17 p.m., something went terribly wrong. Witnesses would later describe loud bangs, 5, maybe 6, echoing through the air. One said it sounded like gunshots. Another thought it was a sonic boom. And then pieces began to fall from the sky. The helicopter was spiraling, dying.
Our hearts go out to the family of those who were on board and all 6 who were on board of the helicopter.
The aircraft flew south before turning to fly north along the Manhattan shoreline up the Hudson River. At 3:08 p.m., the helicopter reached the George Washington Bridge and then turned again to fly south along the New Jersey shoreline. Shortly thereafter, the aircraft lost control and hit the water just a few feet off the coast of Pier A Park in Hoboken. The cause of the crash is currently under investigation.
So you heard that the crash is under investigation. The NTSB is on its way over to the scene of the wreckage. There's also a boat with a crane on it. It's a bit covered up from our vantage point right now. It is behind an FDNY boat, but certainly that will be used to help pull the fuselage out of the Hudson River so that this mystery can be pieced together, but that will certainly take time. Again, we understand a family visiting from Spain on that sightseeing helicopter. 2 adults, 3 children, they have all died in this crash, as has the pilot of this helicopter. Reporting live from the Manhattan side of this crash along the Hudson River, Lauren Glassberg.
From her apartment window, Danny Horbiak watched in horror as it plummeted. "I saw it fall out of the sky," she said. "Pieces were flying. I thought, no way anyone survives that."
According to a source from WCBS, our local CBS station, take a look at this response on the scene right now. Police are there, emergency crews are there, a really heavy police presence, both FDNY and NYPD. They are there on the ground, in the air, and in the water there. There are also scuba divers we saw, rescue crews who were there in and around the Hudson River. We also have some new photos that I want to share with you if our control room can bring them up. You can see part of the helicopter on top of the water. It appears to be sitting upside down in those images. I'm not sure if we can share those with our viewers right now because it's hard to see from these really far away aerial shots where the helicopter actually went down. Again, Jules, a really fluid situation. We're just learning moment by moment, piecing things together as far as how this happened. We still have really no idea about the cause. But I can also tell you the FAA, we reached out to them. They tell us this was a Bell 206 helicopters. And I'll quote, they say, "And the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board will investigate. The NTSB," it says, "will lead the investigation and provide any updates." Jules, also for our national viewers, let's talk about where this happened because we can contextualize this. People here in New York City will understand what Pier 40 is, but if you haven't been here before, you may remember this is a really large pier in the city. It was originally a shipping terminal. Now we know this is a really big recreational and community hub. So, given the fact that a source is telling WCBS this was a tourist or recreational helicopter, that checks out for that area. We also, of course, have our national desk working on this story. They are working to confirm some more details, including how many people were on board this helicopter. We are told all 6 people now have died tragically. Also, we want to show you what's happening. I'm not sure if Control Room we can show our viewers what's happening on the ground near Pier 40 because it is a very busy hub of activity right now. Hearing that New York City Mayor Eric Adams is there on scene, so we could be hearing from him soon. His office telling WCBS moments ago that the chopper apparently took off from Lower Manhattan. As for what's ahead here, Jules, it's a really cold day here in New York City. The water is really cold. We're experiencing freezing temperatures today. And if we look ahead, we're also expecting some rain later tonight. And if you look at the time of day, we're approaching sunset. So this can certainly impact the investigation in the hours ahead here.
Yeah, and that's what follows the investigation. But obviously, first and foremost was the search and rescue, which we have now learned is a search and recovery. Chanel, we appreciate your reports there. We'll stay on this and obviously not the outcome that anyone.
Within seconds, the Hudson swallowed it. Emergency services were at the scene almost immediately. FDNY and NYPD divers dove into the cold, murky waters. 4 people were declared dead at the scene. 2 others were pulled out and rushed to hospitals, but it was already too late. Agustin, Merce, their 3 children, the pilot, all gone. The aftermath was heavy. Officials worked quickly to contact the Spanish consulate. News traveled fast back to Barcelona, where friends, extended family, and colleagues learned the unthinkable. Siemens issued a solemn statement. At Pier 40, where tourists still gathered hours later, the mood had shifted. It wasn't just about the tragedy anymore. It was the weight of realization that this could have been anyone. Mayor Eric Adams called it heartbreaking. Jersey City's mayor, Stephen Fulop, voiced what many were already feeling, that maybe these helicopter tours needed to be reconsidered. Noise wasn't the only concern now. It was safety, lives. The FAA grounded all operations around the crash site. The NTSB sent in a full-go team to investigate. Hours later, the water was calm again. But something had shifted in the city. A family of 5 vanished. What began as a joyful vacation ended in the kind of silence that ripples far beyond a single riverbank. And yet, even in the grief, something lingers. A reminder of how fragile, how fleeting life can be. A call to hold your children closer, to take fewer things for granted, to remember that even the most beautiful moments can turn in an instant. Agustin and Merce's story is one of love, family, and dreams that were cut short far too soon. Their journey ended in a way no one could have predicted. But their memory lives on in the people they touched, the lives they shaped, and now in all of us who hear their story. And you can do something about it. Raise awareness, push for better oversight on tourist flight safety, demand answers because no vacation should end this way. And most of all, share this story. Let their memory echo beyond the Hudson, beyond New York. Let it mean something. Let it matter.